Hey everybody, this is Chris DeFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. This episode is brought to you by the people who are making your coffee taste amazing every single time because it is being extracted through clean equipment. And that, of course, is Ernex. Ernex has been creating cleaning products for the coffee industry for over 80 years. They develop products for a wide range of different equipment. Examples, cold brew, steam ones, espresso machines, roasters, and brewers. It just runs the gamut, and it's all specially designed for those pieces of equipment and their particular needs. So super amazing products. And what's also amazing about them is that they work hand in hand with professionals across the globe to make sure that when they develop a product, it's both effective in the cafe and easy to use by your staff. It never ceases to amaze me how powerful Ernex products are, how effective they are. And if you use them, I think you're going to agree. So the bottom line here is that clean equipment makes the best coffee, and the best cleaning products for your coffee equipment are made by Ernex. Find out more information by visiting their website, ernex.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by ODEKO. You know, one of the reasons why a shop is successful is because they can stay on top of their ordering and inventory. That's easier said than done, especially when it's not the most pleasant task. You know, nobody really gets into coffee because they love doing that, the ordering and inventory. But it's one of the main levers operators have to drive good business results. And ODEKO is making this simple for you. ODEKO uses AI to put your sales data to work. It couples past sales with local events and weather to predict exactly what you're going to need in the future. Then their virtual purchasing agent automatically places the orders based on those predictions. It's automated, centralized, optimized ordering for your cafe. What's not to like here? You save time, you save money and waste because it's so accurate. It's a win-win. Take the pain out of ordering and get ODEKO in your shop. Go visit this website to do that, odeko.com/keys to the shop. Okay, so today on a special, it's only special because of the title, shift break episode, the Halloween shift break episode, we are talking about
blood-sucking bosses.
And, this is something that is really, I think, scary because it happens all the time. And especially, I think, we're talking about how owners can do this to their managers, or the first person in authority underneath the owner tends to be the one who gets the brunt of this blood-sucking behavior. And it's not malicious. Some people, it might be malicious, that's the case maybe for some people, and it's terrible if it is. But a lot of times what it is you'll find burnout in managers and in lead baristas. If you don't have a manager, you end up kind of taking on the managerial role in a different title. It's lead barista, it's assistant manager, or whatever it is. You're a manager. You're an authority, and the person above you is the owner or the purely admin boss, right? So what happens here is that everybody gets busy, and then nobody realizes just how much work is being done by the next person. And a lot of times the general manager or the owner will not realize how much work is being built up on the shoulders of their direct reports or their managers. And this causes burnout, and they're just basically sucking you dry without realizing it, saying, can you do this? Can you do that? Adding more and more responsibility. And eventually you just feel like a hollow shell of a person at the end of the work week. You don't have any balance in your work. There's constantly fires to put out, but there's more administrative load on you. And, we talked about this maybe a year ago, but a lot of managers are just not compensated enough for the kinds of responsibilities that they are taking on, including having to work shifts. Most managers work shifts on the bar as well. So there's a lot of task switching, which is its own kind of fatigue. There's a lot of knowledge work that's being done by managers with a schedule and with one-on-ones and developing different kinds of policies for the shop, answering questions. there's a lot of work going into these roles, and there's not a lot of recognition of that fact. And it creates an environment where somebody in authority can just kind of blithely put on more without even thinking about it. And that's a kind of neglect that causes burnout. And it's just the nature of coffee bars that if you don't hold back the tendency for this environment to suck you dry, you're going to be sucked dry. You're going to give too much of yourself. If you're not getting boundaries set for you by others, you have to set them for yourself, and take on work that is actually doable that week. You'll be surprised at how many managers or owners are understanding of this, mostly because they didn't think of it first themselves. And that brings me to my next point, which is if you're in a position of authority and you have somebody that you're kind of giving tasks to on a weekly basis, you need to be aware of how much you're giving them and really think through the time commitment needed for those things. Before I put another thing on this person's plate, am I going to be expecting too much from them? They might want to stay longer and work hard and work often, etc., fall on the sword for the company. But in some cases, as a boss, it's my responsibility to say, no, don't do that. For your sake, for the company's sake, don't do that. Take some time for yourself. Hold back this tide of giving all of yourself to the company. Keep it professional. Keep it balanced. Be responsible for predicting that people are going to want to work more than they actually have to. Let them know that it's okay to not be burned out. It's not a badge of honor to be constantly stressed and constantly running around and working. Most of the time, that's just a substitute for effective work. Effective work often looks like not working, in a sense. Just like working clean on the bar can make you look like you never did have a rush, because you come in after the rush and you kind of expect it to be nuts in there, right? And coffee grounds everywhere and milk everywhere. But if it's pristine and people are calm and confident and in control, you'd be tempted to think, well, geez, I mean, are we even working today? And that would be the wrong assumption. That would be mischaracterizing effective work as laziness. That is something I think bosses do also. And that's terrible. The assumption with knowledge work or unseen work or work that's effective and efficient is that no work is being done. And so I guess we have to put more on their plate so that we can get our money's worth from this person. This, I know, happens in a lot of cafes. Owners, especially owners that don't make as much as their employees in the early parts of the business, they start getting jealous of their employees' paychecks and tips. And so they start overloading employees with more and more tasks. And they do it almost subconsciously until it becomes just a justified, overt thing. And now we are in a toxic relationship. And if you had told yourself that that's what you were going to do when you first opened your coffee bar, you probably wouldn't have believed yourself. But we justify all sorts of crappy things that we end up doing in the future. So let's cut this off at the pass. Realize that you're going to have, as a boss, the temptation to overload your employees either by neglect of knowing how much is on their plate to begin with, or by devaluing the work that they currently are doing and wanting to have them, visibly show you that they're working, which just means that you can't recognize what effective and efficient work looks like. Or you need to figure out how you can recognize the ROI from their work without having them just lose their mind at work. And also, if you're in a position where you are feeling just hollowed out by the constant expectations of the boss, then it's time to really set some boundaries or find a different place to work if boundaries are refused. That is probably the best step. And I've had to do both of these things. In the position of a boss, I've had to just cut myself off from giving more work and saying, look, no more changes, no more tasks on a week-to-week basis. And then as a barista, I've had to put boundaries in place for myself that said I can or I cannot take on this task because I need to just enjoy life a little bit, just a little bit, please. So I hope that this episode has helped you navigate the world of blood-sucking bosses a little bit, and that it prevents you from becoming one yourself. And, you become one if you've been bitten by one often. I don't know if that's true. But anyway, I hope that you have an awesome day today. Have an awesome Halloween. And I will see you here next week for another edition of Shift Break, from keys to the shop.